What's up everyone, it's your boy Connor. Welcome back to Slinging Sips on American Coffee Trip. Today I'm going to be reviewing a single origin Colombia from company Parlor Coffee out of Brooklyn, New York. I've heard a lot of good things about this coffee company down in Brooklyn, and I hope that I get to review them this year. That all depends on if I'm going to be focusing on Manhattan Island this year or Brooklyn itself. Who knows? But these guys wholesale their coffee at Lucky's Coffee Garage. Them, Aluminara, Brio Coffee Works, and Carrier Coffee Roasting are the coffee roasters that you can find that sell their product at that coffee shop. This is the last one that I am willing to try. I'm not a big fan of Carrier Coffee Roasting. I've never been a huge fan of any of their coffees. If you are, let me know down below in the comment section. Today I'm going to be breaking out my new Chemex, which I also got at Lucky's Coffee Garage. I've been using the same exact technique that I use for my pour overs. Same grind size, double the recipe for double the dose, double the amount of water, and a brew time that ends up going around 4 minutes. Which is kind of what you can expect in the Chemex, a brew time from anywhere from 4 minutes to 8 minutes. And it's absolutely delicious, vibrant, wonderful coffee to have. Now, I'm going to start the water. I want to talk a little bit about this Chemex as I'm brewing with it, and also why I'm starting to brew with this, breaking open a new bag. I want to get away from just starting to do V60 for every new bag open that I do, since this isn't standardized. This is just me kind of trying out new bags of coffee, enjoying them. I'm going to be a little bit more non-standard about it from now on. I could start out with French press, I could try on the Zero Dripper, the Origami, the V60, the Chechva, or the AeroPress, or this. Break this bag open. And so now that I'm doubling my recipe, usually I do 20.5. I'm going to do This time, I'm gonna have to break out the scissors. I'm changing my dose to 41 grams of coffee. This always annoys me whenever I have to use scissors to open the bag of coffee. That water is definitely going to go off before I finish grinding this. Grind size is set exactly the same as I'll fix that in a sec. Same grind size as a normal pour over. Move this to the side. And what I can do in the meantime is start off. Heat my brewer. All the way up to 41 grams of coffee. One thing I'm going to do before I start even committing to pouring into the brewer is check and see if I've got enough water for this brew. I'm actually going to cut the video and fill this up with a little bit more water, just not to risk it, because it's going to be an output of around 600 grams of water for this recipe. Okay, so that water is heating up again. Oh boy. A little bit of spillage. I caught a bean. Water's back up to temp. I'm going to mention one of the downsides, one of the biggest downsides of the Chemex, and I just told my buddy Brian about it today, and this was kind of the reason why he didn't get the Chemex. So you got these filter papers, right? It's 4 squares, fold out like this. Now the idea with the Chemex, and I'm probably gonna test this out in the future, but I just want to play it safe for this video and do it the way they tell you to do it. These 4 pieces of paper here, and these are heavy. I can actually weigh it on here. This paper weighs 4.2 grams. Now, the weight isn't the only issue. You have this one piece of glass, this carafe style brewer right here, and this is the classic design with the tie. That's also kind of a pain, but it looks so beautiful, I don't care. And you can see here you've got this little lip. Now what will happen is if there's not enough paper backing where this lip is, that paper will form a perfect seal with this. And what that will do is it won't allow air to escape, and your brewer will stop in its tracks. It literally won't fall through. There needs to be some level of air escaping the brewer. So what they tell you to do is you take 3 out of 4 of these pieces of paper, you open it up like this. The 3 pieces of paper go on the side with the divot, and the 1 piece of paper goes on the side without. So now what I'm gonna do, I have to actually pour into the brewer. It's usually what I'll do with a pour over is I'll separate it. And I'll take the top piece and pour the paper, get that paper taste out separately. So I start from the middle. One thing I can't do completely is I can't completely wet the brewer paper, or the paper for the brewer. My God, can I word. So that would all be paper taste. Gives us a little swirl. I want this to be nice and hot, and I'm gonna pour, and what's gonna feel weird is pouring this with the paper and flipping it upside down. Okay. So now what I'm going to do, make sure that heats to the exact temp of 93 degrees Celsius. Lance Hedrick, he does a few different things. He has a trick where he actually cuts the paper in a certain way and has two layers on either side, and then he uses a silicone rubber piece to seal this off, which fixes some of the problems with the Chemex. I might start to institute some of those practices later on. I might just try it with the 2 layers of paper and then try to forego that piece covering this, so if hopefully just the paper won't divot into that. I've never had that problem quite yet, but we'll see what happens as I try this out more and more. The flow issue I thought was going to be more of a problem than it was, but I was finding that the flow was going perfectly in the middle, and that just, I think, had to do with free flow pouring technique. So I'm going to pour this. Okay, 41.3. Another thing he did was he put a chopstick, like a glass or metal chopstick, right here, and he swirled right till it hit the middle, so you had like this divot. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to do it by free pour technique, which I will show you in a sec. Now I'm just doubling the recipe that I used for my pour over. So I'm going to start the timer. Pour right in the middle. This is a 100-gram first bloom. You can see it's going right in the middle. No flow issues. I'm not really seeing any bypass brew come through here, which is another complaint that he had. Now I'm going to add 200 grams. All the way up to 300. Wait till about a minute, and then so our normal pour over technique, it would be a 75-gram dose added. Instead, we're going to double that and go to 150. Wait another 15 seconds, and then we'll go for our final pour. Aesthetically, this is my favorite brewer that I've ever used in this house so far. It's just absolutely amazing to look at. Right at 610 at the end. It's just a little bit over. As you can see, the line at which my coffee is at is right on the edge of the top. So this is literally the maximum water you can pour at a time brewing with this method. And if everything goes correctly, which this is a brand new coffee, different origin than what I've been using, it could go differently. It should be right around a 4-minute brew time, which I found is absolutely perfect for this. The pour over grind size was perfect for this. Just doubling the recipe ended up working out great, and I didn't have to adjust anything else. Could change with this. As you can see, it's dripping in there. Just the shape of the carafe itself, the way the light hits it. This is something that James Hoffman mentioned in his review of the Chemex. It's just absolutely beautiful looking. And that's part of it too, is the aesthetics of when you're brewing the coffee. It's just, you want to look at it, you want to interact with it. This wood collar is really pretty. even if it's a pain to use. We're running around 3 minutes and 10 seconds, still brewing. This is a lot of coffee that needs to be extracted. 40 grams means that this is going to be a lot of coffee to drink. In the meantime, I'm going to take a little bit of a look at this box here. Regional smallholder farmer blend. Roasted in Brooklyn, New York, whole bean coffee. Parlor was founded in 2012 with an espresso machine in the back of a barber shop and a dream to roast New York's finest coffee. We advocate for producers and foster transparent. Oh. Goddamn. 3 minutes and 55 seconds. Beautiful. Can pour this. Cat is yapping away. Let me finish reading this first. We advocate for producers and foster transparent relationships with the same commitment that drives our pursuit of consistency and roasting excellence. Wow. The La Quebrada region, southern Colombia, from the mountainous region of southern Colombia. It doesn't say what elevation this is grown at. This was roasted January 2nd, so this coffee is running about 3 weeks. It's a month old. Pour some of this in here. Pour that in a sec. No tasting notes, no elevation, just the region of coffee it was grown within Colombia. It was grown in the southern regions of Colombia in the mountains. Give it some more. That's immensely chocolatey. It's still quite hot. Wow, that's pretty damn good. I would say tasting notes of red fruit, tangerine, and cocoa. It starts out with a nice vibrant sweetness, as if from like a coffee cherry or a fruit, just like a red fruit. And then it gets a little bit acidic, a little bit of a bite, a little citrusy, but more of like a tangerine. It's a little bit sweeter. And then it's just an overpowering sense of cocoa and chocolate that comes from this coffee. So it's a very chocolate focused drink, which is fantastic. Coming from the Chemex, this is a really good cup of coffee. A One thing I plan on doing with this in the future is changing up how I use the filter, using the Lance Hedrick method which it wasn't his method, he patented it from someone else. Someone passed it to him, he passed it to me. Little diagonal or a little cut along the seam of the paper with a diagonal small cut, and then you just fold it a certain way, and that gives you 2 layers of paper on either side. So that's something I'll probably give a shot. I'm a little bit against trying to cover up this little divot here, and I'm just going to try to let it be. So yeah, that being said, guys, I've got a few coffees coming in pretty soon. My buddy Brian ordered some from a coffee roaster in Wisconsin, so I will be featuring those relatively soon. Both of those coffees have an extremely high cupping score. One of them with a score of 94, another one with a score of 95. I'm also planning on ordering another bag of coffee, maybe later today, from the folks at FAC01, or if you've been to the coffee shops, you'll know them as Mod Cup Coffee in Jersey City. The best coffee in New Jersey, and I'm assuming that opinion's not going to change. I hope it does, because I always want to find the best of the best here on American Coffee Trip. So with that being said, guys, I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.